it's Lena. I want to make a quick video on what you can expect for physical changes to happen in your body as you move through eating disorder recovery. I'm an eating disorder recovery coach, and what comes up a lot for anyone moving through recovery are some physical symptoms that can be really scary and that can really sometimes leave you wondering, is this just recovery related, or do I have an actual health problem on my hands that needs some treatment, that needs like medical supervision? And so I want to just give you a little list of things that can happen to your body that are very common in recovery. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that these things are just recovery related, so if you're not sure, please always do check with a doctor. But I do want to give you a brief overview of a few things that can happen so that when they happen to you, you don't have to freak out. You can evaluate with yourself, knowing that this is common in recovery, but of course you also still always want to get some medical treatment just in case you feel like you need it. The truth is that the recovery process can be very, very tough on the body. You're drastically changing what you're eating and how much you're eating, and a lot of times you're coming from a place where like maybe you haven't had a period in years, and so there is like hormonal changes that are really messing things up a little bit in your body as the body restarts a few processes that prior to you choosing recovery were just on hold because they weren't like necessary for your survival. One of the major things that can come up for people is edema and like water retention. Usually it happens in your legs, but it can happen anywhere. You can have it in your face, in your throat, all over your body. You can have it in like your genital area. It doesn't matter. This is a thing in recovery, and I don't want to go into why this happens right now in this video. If you want a video on like the specific symptoms that I'm going to mention and like understand why they're happening in recovery, please leave me a comment down below and I can do that. But for now, let's just list them and get them out of the way as yes, common in recovery. Don't get discouraged if this happens to you quite a bit. Like edema can really be a thing for many, many people, and it can happen that you have you experience severe swelling and it's super painful and it's so frustrating. And there are definitely ways to manage that, but just know that if that comes up for you, it's no reason to like panic, because it's just what happens to a lot of people in recovery. Another issue that can come up that is rather obvious are digestive issues, stomach pains, and all of that, heartburn, just everything that is related to your digestive tract, because your digestive tract is just readjusting to these new foods that you're feeding it. Let's say if you come from a very restricted diet, like maybe a fruitarian or raw vegan diet, but even if it wasn't that extreme, but just like restricting certain foods that you're now eating again, of course your body has to just go through a bit of an adjustment phase. And so it's sensitive to a lot of things that you haven't eaten in a while, and so you just have to give that some time. Know that if you're experiencing stomach pains and bloating and like all kinds of digestive issues, that can happen. It's common in recovery. Doesn't mean you shouldn't get that checked out, but just know that it's common. You can also experience extreme fatigue where you're just tired all of the time, you're falling asleep in strange places, your body just seems to be needing a lot of rest, and of course it needs a lot of rest. It's repairing a lot of damage that you've done to your body through your eating disorder, and so it needs some rest to regenerate. That is totally fine. You should probably just surrender to that unless you feel it's like completely ridiculous. Then it's a good thing to possibly discuss that with a medical doctor. You can also experience brain fog, congestion in the head, hair loss, all of that, because not everything is going to flow perfectly as you add in more foods. Your lymphatic system may be a little bit sluggish, and your kidneys may not be able to filter out the waste at the pace that they were before, and so you can just experience like all these symptoms of congestion, and that is super common. You can also experience like hot flashes where you're just like sweating all of the time, and maybe you're experiencing something like tingling somewhere, like a little bit of nerves. All of these things are super common and nothing to like completely worry about. You can also get some pretty gnarly headaches, and you can experience something like really sensitive teeth also. These are all things that can like totally come up as you're moving through recovery that are very normal and very much to be expected. I know that so many freak out when you come into recovery thinking, oh my gosh, I'm repairing my body, I'm healing my body, I'm healing my mind, like I'm healing. But oftentimes you have to go through like a healing crisis where things get worse before they get better. Think of cleaning a room that's really like that's a real mess. And for it to get better, maybe you have to go through a stage where you just throw everything on the floor to have a good look at what's actually there, and then you throw some things out and you put some back in the closet. So, you know, that's just a thing in nature. Like sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. Doesn't mean it's actually getting worse. It just means that temporarily there are some things that are a little out of balance, which is fine. Now, these symptoms can last a while. For some people, they can linger around for months, maybe even over a year. It totally depends on where you are, where your body is at, and the severity of the eating disorder that you had. And so it's really a case-to-case thing. But if you're experiencing any of these symptoms or some other symptoms, the first order of the day is to not freak out, to not panic, and to understand that the body has to go through a lot of readjustment as you're feeding it more and different things. That is completely normal, and you should really just expect that to happen. Educate yourself if you can before you even start the recovery journey. And I have to personally, like when I start working with someone, I have to make that super clear, because that stuff can really freak you out, and it doesn't have to. All right, there's a lot more I could say on the topic, but I'll leave it here for now. And I'm sending you so much love if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, and I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Comment down below what are the symptoms that you experienced or that you're experiencing right now. And if you feel like you need a little more like hands-on support in your recovery, because right now maybe you don't really have the support that you need, I do offer one-on-one recovery coaching. I'll have a link to that in the description box below. Please feel free to check that out. And other than that, I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye.